Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. As many of you know, one of the reasons I like to play games, be it board games, video games, any sort of game, is because it gets me a feeling of the personality of the person involved. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a person is going to play according to their personality, but it gives you an idea about the situations that they come up with. A good friend of mine in chess loves to blitz with his knights. If you're not in a position to shut them down in the first couple turns, he'll blow through your backfield and you have no chance against him. He does have a backup strategy, but if you don't shut that one down real quick, it's going to be a bad day for you. That's kind of the way he is as a person. He always has a backup plan. Or at least he thinks he does. But he's very clever, and that first move is so unexpected, it can knock somebody off their game, and it's really tough to power through. Now, he's not the type of gamer that I want to discuss here. It's just an example to prove my point. What I've been noticing lately is a lot more and more gamers are becoming very petulant. Now, what do I mean by that? They don't like to lose. No, nobody likes to lose. And for politicians, losing can be literally life or death in a career. So I understand that, but there's some people, no matter what game it is, they're going to argue with you. They're going to say, no, that's not fair. That's not the way the rules are. We were playing my friend that I just told you about. There's a group of 4 of us playing group chess, and somebody tried to use the knight to take a piece while it was on its way to its target. And I had rules out, and finally I called my friend who knows knights better than anybody and said, look, can a knight take a piece on the way, or does it only take it at the final tile? He said, yeah, final tile. Okay. We've appealed to an outside judge. That's the ruling. So, but they had everybody had a good point. So we needed somebody to figure it out. That's a good dispute in the rules. We've been playing it different ways, and we've never played before, so we needed a ruling on the field. Other people would have said, no, your friend is wrong, the rules are wrong, this is wrong, that is wrong. We've all encountered that type of player. If you touch the wrong piece and don't even move it, they're like, judge, come on over, look at this, he's touching a piece. So, yeah, I was just centering it in the middle of the square. These are the people who are like, huh, I hate that. Why? Because it's unfair. Well, it's a legitimate strategy. It's not banned. There's nothing in the rules that prevent it. Well, I just hate it. Anything I don't like should be banned. And I'm noticing more and more of these players around. If you go on the forums for Magic the Gathering, PUBG, Conflict of Nations, any of these, you get this echo chamber of people who are saying how one particular strategy is unfair or another one they don't like because they have a hard time adapting to it. And I use those words carefully. It's you that hasn't figured out how to adapt to it. Once you realize all these games are programmed and manufactured and built in such a way that no single strategy is going to solve the game, it depends on what your opponents do, it depends on what you do, you start to understand it. But there's this bitterness in people that's coming up through games. We've all seen either live or on YouTube somebody going nuts and throwing over a table or smashing their video game controller or any one of these things, aside from Angry Video Game Nerd who does it for humor. The part that disturbs me, and if you notice I worked a little bit of foreshadowing in, is that our politicians are starting to act this way more and more. Politics is supposed to be, first of all, communication and discourse. Of course, there's going to be disagreements between two people, but you're supposed to sort it out and work with your rational self interest. I always give this example. You, your neighbor is building a water pipe. Now, he's not building it to your property, but the same token, you can tap into it and pull that water onto your property. Your neighbor's self interest is, no, I don't want you touching my property, but his rational self interest says, yeah, while we're digging, come on out and dig your freshwater pipe. That way it goes to your house, we seal it in, we don't need to worry about it for 20 years, and I don't have a problem with my neighbor. That's the difference between self interest and rational self interest. Politicians are more like the angry gamer, where anything they don't like needs to be banned. And we can see this with controlled substances becoming an issue in some states and not in others. Now, I'm not going to argue about specific ones. Yeah, cocaine, methamphetamine, all that sort of crap is horrible for you. And maybe one day I'll actually do some research and be able to discuss it. But this back and forth legislature confuses people. What's legal for me to have? And then in courts, they can suspend your privilege to have alcohol, to have intoxicants of any sort, and it's perfectly within their rights. Now, these are generally for, impaired driving cases, but they have the right to slap it on any old case. It is a privilege to be allowed alcohol, not a right. And they got some wicked technology to enforce it. And that's because the governments were tired of reporters lambasting them for drunk driving, and reform still needs to take place in that. And the only thing they can do is that knee-jerk, ban it all. Don't care about the studies, don't care about the research. We looked bad on TV, ban it all. People are running on these issues because they got a lot more of these people who want that ban it all mentality, which I find amusing because these are the same people that scream about their freedoms. I don't know where politicians began going wrong, and you can't blame the president before now. He's a symptom, he's not the cause. He probably stretches back in time further than most, but he's not the patient zero that we're looking for. These conditions have always been around. I can remember I was very young, and I was playing some game, let's just say Uno, because I can't remember what the heck game it was, or Boggle, or Yahtzee, or whatever the heck it was, and I was told, make sure you allow your cousin to win, because he doesn't take losing very well. And by the way, that cousin grew up to be a fantastic person. But it's just that winner-take-all mentality is sabotaging our society and our system. One of the things as human beings, we've forgotten to use our ears. Listening is so hard that even judges have to threaten contempt of court to get people to listen to them. We have this whole idea of malicious compliance, which overall I find amusing, and most of the stories are not too bad. But the same token, sometimes people just don't want to listen. Having been in management and having never had malicious compliance enacted on me, because it was never possible, because those are the rules, but I can see where the problem lies. People hear what they want to hear. And I slowed that down, not because I underestimate the intelligence of my audience, but because tell a person, okay, go to the store, buy some milk. Now, they were thinking about their wife. They were tired. They were sick. Whatever it is, they heard go to the store. So they go to the local. Maybe milk isn't a good example. Go to the store, buy some tomatoes because you can't get that at most corner shops. Okay, so go to the store. What was I here for again? Tomatoes. Well, they don't have those here. Well, why not? Well, I'm here in the store and there's no tomatoes. And they start to get angry because they don't realize that they missed the important detail. Go to the store that has the tomatoes. And they're convinced they're right. And they start throwing this temper tantrum. I'm going to call it a temper tantrum because they don't want to admit they're wrong. They don't want to lose the conversation. Because even a casual conversation can be trying with these people. So then you have to slow them down and, okay, where are you right now? Well, I'm at the corner store. Well, you're supposed to go to grocery store. Well, you just said to go to the corner store. No, I never said corner. That's one of the reasons I like modern technology is that you can text somebody and say, go to the grocery store. Pick up tomatoes. And that is actually real life stuff I have come in contact with. People, again, I love putting my instructions in writing because there can't be any argument. And if there is an argument, then you say, oops, sorry, I was completely wrong there. Or, oh, wait, here, I can help you because this part was where you didn't understand. The problem with politicians is they have a whole platform that they can get up and cry and whine because they lost whatever. They lost a conversation about women's rights. They lost a conversation about gender. And I admit, I'm losing a lot of conversations on gender lately, but it's because I'm asking and I'm learning. I'm trying to expand my mind. You know what? It's never going to affect me in my life, so I might as well find out about it. But most people don't want that. No, don't want to talk about it. Doesn't exist. And this goes back to that bad gamer personality that we see if you're ever stupid enough to leave your headphones on with any of these games, you'll hear it. Oh, you'll hear it. The trash talk, the mean-spirited stuff. Oh, wait, that's Twitter, now known as X. It's where people trash talk. For politicians, for whatever it is, for athletes, that's basically the trash talk forum. Facebook, you get it too. And like I said, it all comes back to this I can't lose because then I wouldn't look successful mentality. I'm no expert. I've lost a lot in life. And you know what? I started off when I was young. I was one of these poor sports. Fortunately, Nintendo made very durable controllers. I don't know who engineered those things, but they deserve a frickin' medal. But the main point is we need to weed these people not out of the population, but we need to put them in a place where they can flourish and they can learn and they can become more than they are at present. Because arguing over everything is never going to settle everything. And you can't win every argument. You can't win every conversation. If you're Albert Einstein, you still got to knuckle under when somebody says, hey, there's something wrong with your theory. You got to say, yeah, I better check that part out. But that's not allowed in our current society. Everybody's right all the time. Nobody can be wrong because then that would be offensive. And I'm not talking racism or stupid stuff that should be out of society and should have been gone in the 1970s. Oh, sorry, I'm building up a good rant on racism. Let me get loose on that on another episode. But yeah, you can see the connection between bad gamers and politicians acting badly. It's the exact same behavior. It's just in a different form. We need to discourage that. Democracy works best when you enforce rational self-interest. you know what? It's in your rational self-interest not to break that Nintendo controller. Because then you got to go out and buy another. Or you're down one and you can't do any two-player games. Or your mother gives you trouble. See? If you'd just been calm and taken care of that Nintendo controller, everything would have been cool. Shout out to Nintendo for all the good times he gave me. We as a society are evolving in a lot of different ways, and this bad gamer slash bad politician dynamic, and I'll throw bad boss in there too, because that's definitely a thing a lot of people have encountered in their lives. This is somehow still accepted. People get a little bit of power and then they want to ban everything and force you to go with their regulations instead of what they've been applied with. I don't know where to break the link in that chain because it's such a long chain and it develops from the very beginning. Because as kids, we all want to win every single game. We all start from that path. We may or may not throw temper tantrums, and we do let the little kids win to avoid that and to teach them the game itself. Good sportsmanship, that's entirely something different. Now, good sportsmanship is also good management and good government. So we'll leave that with you to think about. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share, because sharing is caring. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Click the link of, not the link, the notification button down below so that way you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. And we hope you have a fantastic day.